Okay, for chapter 7, we are looking at monopolies and we'll be looking at different types of market structures. So, what that means is we'll be looking at things called oligopolies, monopolist competition, monopolies, perfect competition. Where you can find this worksheet is under homework activities, market structure, monopoly packet. It's a small one. The worksheet will look like this. All right, just a few questions, a chart to fill out. Now, what you can do is you can use your textbook on page 170. Again, I know most of you guys don't have your textbook. So what you can do is there's a PowerPoint. If you go to Chapter 7 Monopolies, there's a PowerPoint that basically goes over all this information, but in PowerPoint format. So you can kind of skip all that if you want. And then that PowerPoint is located right there. Also, there's kind of my lecture notes on market structures, very similar to what we'll be talking about in class today. So you can kind of review that. I think if I remember correctly, it goes over the Chapter 7 PowerPoint. It goes hand in hand with that. Now, a quick heads up, when looking up the definitions of perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopolies, and monopolies, all right, you have to ask yourself, what are the items sold in these markets? So, for example, a monopoly means that there's only one existing company or corporation. Oligopolies mean there's two or three. Monopolistic competition means there are a bunch, and perfect competition means there are a bunch too. Now, there's differences between these. Okay, so a quick example would be obviously if you look at the PowerPoint, these could be an existing natural monopolies. So, like Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, they are all monopolies. Oligopolies would be like cereal brands, Kellogg, Quaker Oats, and I'm trying to forget the other one. And they, or at least soda, I can tell you soda, Pepsi and Coke are oligopolies. They dominate the market share of the soda industry. Okay. So then you have monopolistic competition. These are your Burger Kings, your McDonald's, all these fast food chains that compete over the burger industry. Your mom and pop burger stands are in there as well. All right, so that's what you're talking about. There's items sold. In the perfect competition, these are commodities. All right, commodities means basically anybody can obtain them. Commodity would be like cotton, fruits, vegetables. All right, it doesn't take much to enter that market. Barriers of entry is going to be the big, big word that I'm going to be after when we talk about this stuff. Okay, so names of specific companies. I just mentioned all that. Specific varieties of items sold in that market. So you're looking at things like maybe tech stocks, maybe you're looking at food or something like that. In these particular, and you're looking at more things like commodities in the perfect competition. All right, examples of how the company controls prices in the market today. In this case, they're price setters. They have to listen to the market. Right? They have very little control. Again, there's a nice chart in your book. I know most of you guys don't have your books. That's why I'm going over all this stuff. Maybe I'll have to look for a link too to help you out with this. I'll have to find a chart somewhere. And specific barriers to entry and exit for other companies in the market. What are the hoops in which you have to jump through to get into that market? So, for example, if I have to join the monopoly and I'm building my own football team, Allentown, I don't know, Pig Iron, right? We have a baseball team. I want to go against the Eagles. Well, how do I get in the NFL? Where are my, hoops I have to get into there, right? It's very daunting. Oligopoly, I got to take on the big boys. I got to take on Pepsi and Coke. How the heck am I supposed to take them on? And then monopolistic and perfect competition, these barriers get easier and easier and easier as you go further down this chain. Okay. Use my PowerPoint. PowerPoint will explain all this for you guys. Again, without having the textbook, just use the PowerPoint and then use the video too. Crash Course Monopolies. That'll help you identify some of the key points to it as well. Okay. All right, so that's basically how you handle that. And these are just simple questions talking about concepts that go with the book. All right, price fixing, price discrimination. All right, these things that companies do to attract or lose customers depending on what their goal is for it. Okay.